I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it already feels like home.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is gig.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm tired.
You had a big week, and
It is.
You got through it tonight. So
It's I was telling people that today is our last big event of the year.
right.
And I'm ready for it. So I was ready.
And the expo is kind of like the end.
Yeah.
For you guys.
We do BAB, but like a regular BAB is a piece of cake compared to Business Expo.
Right.
So, but
I was there. It was great.
we had a great crowd. And we're so thankful for like Triple Crown, who just lets us run the place,
Right.
So it's great, but everything else going well? Everything good for you? Like you went to Columbus for like a couple days, right?
Ohio Bankers League. They had their big event, and so I spent 2 days up there on the marketing track.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm part of a marketing forum, and so it's good. So I got to catch up with the people that I meet with 3 or 4 times a year, and it was really good.
Yeah.
But back at it, things are busy.
Yeah. Anytime you go away, it feels like everything and just
You come
stops,
back to
and then
a pile of stuff. Yeah.
But it is the way it is, right? So, well, we're really excited. If you remember, and you're an avid listener, it feels like home. About a year ago, we had Daniel Griesheimer on the podcast. Daniel is a local product and an actor, but he's also one of the founders and main creators behind Ohio Creations LLC, which is a collective of artists and actors and really just folks that really want to create good art in our community, and particularly when it comes to the visual arts, so
Right.
movies. And Daniel contacted us a couple days ago and said, "Hey, I know I was just on, but I'd really like for my wife to come on and talk about our new project." And I read up a little bit on the project, and I was so inspired by the story that she has and the creative way that she's telling it. I felt like it was really a good idea for us to have Jessica Griesheimer on to talk about that. You'll hear a lot about her movie here and the motivation and her own incredibly personal story behind it. And I feel like this is one of those times where the mission meets the media, and
for sure.
It's a great opportunity for us to get some good word out about a great cause, but also some good people doing some great things in our community. So we're hoping that you'll catch that from us as well as you listen to Jessica Griesheimer. We're excited today to have the first couple of Chillicothe Film.
Oh, I like that.
How do you like that title?
I love it. I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
Trademark.
Just own it, right?
Trademark 2023. Ohio Creations LLC.
Try to put out on a hashtag.
Yeah. Or like you're not getting that on a small hat. So
Trying to fit the 11 letters of the last name on a hashtag is already a challenge enough.
Jessica and Daniel Griesheimer are with us from Ohio Creations, but then also independently, you guys have been doing different things, but then now you're working on Without Her, which is the film that you're working on. But it's kind of more than that, isn't it? It's like a bigger thing. So I guess the last time Daniel was on, and I don't believe you were here, right?
No, not for that one.
Yeah. So we probably have need and necessity for you to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you.
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah. How long do we have, right?
I know. I like long walks on the beach. No, I initially, I was born and raised in Circleville, but most of my family was born and raised here in Ross County and lived here my entire life. And I often came to visit. And then meeting Daniel, his passion for Chillicothe is so contagious that I just immediately was like, I love Chillicothe too. And I've been on this mission to make Chillicothe a part of what your vision is too. Really, it's just a part of that. It's so cool to me that what already exists is it literally looks like a Hallmark town. It looks like everybody waves at you on the street like they're already an extra in the film and they're getting screen time for it. Like,
Do I get my SAG card for this?
yeah. And I love that homey, just like literal Hallmark town kind of vibe. And I love the people that choose to invest their time, invest their skills, and invest their energy into making Chillicothe what it is today and what it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that's how we get you. We hook you with that niceness, and then we make you stay forever.
Oh, that Midwestern
Speaking as somebody that's been here 25 years.
That's exactly right.
So, well, I appreciate that. It's one thing when you're born here, and Daniel and Marty know this.
Right.
You and I are less so. I mean, I'm from further away. So, but once you get here, there's an energy and a feeling that is it's hard to really kind of put it into words. But I liked what you said, that it was just there's this niceness about things, and there's the wave is to me like the thing that. It's not uncommon for me to be driving down the road and have somebody beep at me and wave at me. I had no clue because I didn't really get a good look at them, but I knew that they knew me somehow, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's when you just kind of by default just
Yeah,
wave
yeah.
back.
Yep.
You might recognize who waved to you
Yeah,
later. But
I always call it dumbfounded acknowledgement.
yes.
Because I have to acknowledge, but I'm also like completely clueless. So
Oh, yeah. That's the way of Chillicothe. We all just wave at each other and we try to figure out if we know each other for real afterward.
Yeah,
And-
I had the thing happen in the drive-thru where somebody paid for my meal in front of me, and I didn't recognize the car. I knew the person had to know me because they kind of waved as they drove. So I posted on Facebook, "Thank you to the person in the white truck for paying for my lunch," or whatever. And I had all kinds of people like responding to that, saying, "That's typical. That happens in Chillicothe all the time. That happens to me all the time." It was just such a nice thing.
Yeah,
you're right. The town, the community has this. I don't know. There's this hospitality feel to it that just really helps people feel at home. Feels like home.
Oh, I saw what you did there. Yeah. The other thing that I like about the both of you is that you're part of this amazing group of young creatives in our community that have taken what you love to do, and that's to create, but you want to include as many people as you can in that. And I think that's a very special thing. You know, sometimes the creative community can be a little insular because certain people have certain ways of doing things or certain styles of doing things. But I feel like what you've done is you've just opened the door and said, all you creatives come here and let's try to figure out how to do this together. Do you feel like that's an accurate assessment of that?
Definitely. I know I can only speak for myself, and Daniel is really the creative mastermind behind being able to bring so many people together in such a collaborative effort. And it's one of the things that I really, really love about his mission with Ohio Creations. And it's something that I love getting the chance to incorporate when it comes to this movie as well, is this. We see a lot of movies that go out and they film in, LA, Atlanta, and a lot of these there's still a lot of places in Ohio they're filming, and like Cleveland and Cincinnati, and Chillicothe kind of gets the short end of the stick sometimes. And it kind of baffles me just because of all of the locations that are here and that sense of community. It has filming and finding places to film has really been one of probably the easiest things that we've never really had much of an issue with as far as just getting the community to band together of like, oh, wow, you're making a movie. That's really cool. And you want my help? I'm so honored. And you don't really see that in LA or New York of like, you want me to help you? Wow, thanks.
Yeah. In LA, New York, they're kind of like, well, our daily rate is blah, blah, blah. And, But I want to talk about the movie because in the movie, I think, number one, is it fair to say that it comes from a very personal standpoint for you?
Oh, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that and tell us about the movie itself.
So it is, I would like to say it's based on my true story, but it is so much deeper than that. It is based on 10 million new true stories every single year from women and dogs who find themselves as a victim of domestic violence. And that's something that I went through myself. And as much as I would love to play my own hero and pretend and tell everybody and tell the whole world how the first red flag that came along and I got out of there and I was so,
right,
strong and independent. And I've gone through a lot of growth since then. And I've gone through a mega dose of healing with an amazing supportive person that has not only accepted and approved of who I am and what I want to do with my time, but is so just on board with it at that same level of passion and energy. And that's not something that I've ever found in any of my past relationships, which is kind of how we got to this movie. But
yeah,
the basis of this is not just to raise awareness for domestic violence. And, we all see domestic violence and the physical aspect of it where people get hurt physically. And a lot of women do lose their lives. And that's a terrible tragedy. The worst part of it to me is the years that you can spend inside of mental and psychological and emotional abuse before it hits to that point of physical. And it only takes 5 minutes. I spent 5 years ignoring the red flags and not getting out because I didn't know what I was going to do with my dogs, but I know that I wasn't going to leave them behind.
Right.
So I dealt with it for their sake, or at least what I thought was the good choice at the time, until my 5 minutes came up.
Right.
And as I was laying there, kind of coming to that realization of that I was not strong enough to fight back, and all of these things that I had ever been taught about being strong, and if somebody hits you, you defend yourself, and realizing that I wasn't strong enough in that time and that there wasn't anything else I could do other than just be at that mercy of what my next line was in the universe. And thankfully, that's all I needed was that 5 minutes, and I was able to finally make that decision to leave. But a lot of women don't have even the resources that I had and the help and support that I had. There are so many women out there that don't get that support. They don't have people in their support group anymore that have the ability to help them out, and especially when it comes to their dogs as well. Mm-hmm. So that's where the basis of the storyline comes from, but it's also such a unique and compelling twist because the entire story is told from the dog's point of view.
Yeah. Yeah. And to me, that is the part that makes this a different story. I joke with my kids about what the dog thinks while you do things that are crazy, right?
Right.
And I also, when my 9-year-old, just tosses herself on him and lays there, and he just looks, at the ceiling or looks at me and is like, yeah, I know I have to be here. There's things that dogs do that, they empathize deeply with people. And they can really bring somebody's mood completely 180. I see it with my daughter all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and I know you're wearing a Rescued by My Rescue shirt, which my dog was a rescue as well. So, and literally rescued my daughter because my daughter would have fits all the time. We called her Crybaby Jules because we had a whole Instagram page dedicated to her crying and throwing fits over nothing. But then we got the dog, and the dog just seemed to mellow her out, And so I think it's really interesting that you've decided to tell this tale that way because, they can't talk, but they're not dispassionate observers, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's the challenge though of the film too, is how you do that with no dialogue.
Oh, it is. It's, if you've ever seen Homeward Bound, it has that same kind of vibe with the storytelling where the voice actor who is voicing the role of the dog is narrating that story throughout the entire period.
Yeah.
And it really does show that what you were talking about, like there's always communication there. They're always talking to us, and they may not speak the same exact language that we speak to each other, but they speak to us every single day with the eyes. Like, you ever have that moment with your dog where you look across the room at them and you have had a whole conversation, but just the eye expression alone, and like that intuition of just knowing, like, oh, this is what they need, this is what they want from me, this is what they're trying to communicate to me, is such this deep, profound, unconditional love that is uncomparable to any other type of relationship that we have with people or even with other animals. The connection between a human and a dog is so unbreakable at times.
And this movie actually comes at a time when domestic violence protection is at a very crucial stage in Chillicothe. The domestic violence shelter is trying to rebuild itself after some years. I think COVID had something to do with it, but I think some years of just, some trouble. And I wouldn't say anything from like a trouble, like law enforcement trouble, but just, some difficulties to try to raise funds and do things. Do you feel like there's a part of this for you that is saying you want to be part of the solution to help women who are in this situation get out of it, there's a lot of gaps to fill right now, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And this is so much more than a movie. It is a movement. It is a movement to a safer tomorrow for both women and dogs, to make sure that neither of them have to become victims or worry about not even knowing where they're going to go. And that's I love that you brought up the point about like the issues of trying to keep the previous domestic violence shelter here locally open. Yeah. It is such a systemic issue across every single community, just like Chillicothe, everywhere, where it's hard to even keep the doors open to be able to have the funding and the community support to put back into the shelter because it has needs every day. And let alone to think about having extra money because even marketing costs money. Yeah. And it's hard to market a domestic violence shelter without, giving out the location and putting people's safety at risk. Mm-hmm. Right. So you already have that extra logistic challenge on top of the money that it costs to market anything almost. And it's a double whammy where there's lack of money for resources and there's lack of awareness because people are just like, oh, I didn't even know there was a domestic violence shelter here anymore. And there is. It's the Rose House now. Right. But how many people even know about the Rose House yet? And how many people would know if you had 5 minutes to leave? Would you know who to even call? Right. Yeah. And that's a big systemic issue that this movie, that's why it's a movement, because it's not just raising awareness of the fact that this problem exists, what the red flags are that you can look out for, and the fact that pet-friendly domestic violence shelters do exist. They just don't exist in every community yet. Right. And that's a part of my personal mission with this movie is I believe it all starts at home with anything. If you want to make a global, massive difference on a big social impact, it needs to start where you're at. And for me, that's here. And that's why I love being here for that, because to move this movement starting from here means that we have the resources and the funding to break ground on the very first pet-friendly domestic violence shelter that's ever existed in Ross County. And then when the movie goes farther out beyond just Ross County, everybody's looking at us like, well, I want to do something like that. How'd you do it? And then before you know it, we've become a template for every other place just like Chillicothe to exist with a pet-friendly domestic violence shelter for every single victim in their community.
Yeah, when you say that, it immediately brought to mind this summer, I saw a keynote delivered by a guy named Brett Culp, who is a filmmaker out of he lives in Florida now. But he did a piece. I'm looking it up because I don't want to get it wrong because he's a tremendous guy. It's called Legends of the Night. And it's basically about the power of people that play Batman in like communities that go to see sick and dying children, to visit a domestic violence shelter, or to make public appearances. And basically just the idea of how the story behind the Batman creates the positive change in people's lives. And I mean, like he has this guy that goes and does anti-drug conversations in an inner city. And he literally he dresses like Batman and drives a Batmobile.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
But Brett Culp, C-U-L-P, look him up because you would love him. But his energy is so infectious because he sees things as a movement. He does not see them as, I'm doing this movie about this thing. The guy's only done 3 or 4 films in, let's say, 8-10 years. But literally everything is about, wow, I feel motivated to do this thing as a movement, right?
Yes.
And so that kind of locks in with what you're saying. And I think it's the same thing, right? Chillicothe has had a very difficult relationship with domestic violence. Years ago, when I first came to town, they had just come out of a long period, maybe 4 or 5 years, where several women had died.
Yes.
As the result of domestic violence. And it led to the creation of the first domestic violence shelter and tougher penalties and things like that. And it got better for a while, and then it's ebbed and flowed since then, right? We may not hear about, homicides that are happening from domestic violence, but we're still hearing about domestic violence, and we're still hearing it multiple times to felony, to where it becomes a felony. And so this movement probably couldn't have come at a better time, you know?
And it's really where I feel like everything in the universe has just put things into my path and presented opportunities to me to keep carrying this little seed of an idea where I was just sitting there like, I really want to make a movie with my dog in it. That was the first basis.
That's how you start, right?
Yeah, that's the basis of any great movement is just put a dog behind it. And
I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
No,
I'll be
you
honest
really
with
can't. And he is probably one of the biggest divas that we have on the cast. Absolutely. He's probably the very first one that would demand his own trailer.
Yeah.
But just having that sole purpose, and I've never felt that feeling before until this movie just started becoming a movement where it started turning away from just like, oh, I'd love to have a movie that has my dog in it, but like it turned into like, oh my goodness, he's actually really good at acting. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
I guess I've accidentally trained him his whole life to do stuff like that. I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
And he is that catalyst for my sole purpose of every terrible thing that I've ever gone through and every terrible thing that this city has ever experienced. It is terrible, and I don't want to ever negate the pain or the trauma that comes with that.
Sure.
But what happens when you grow flowers from where mud used to be? Mm-hmm. You get some of the most amazing gardens that could ever exist.
Yeah.
And that's my dream with this, for sure.
Yeah. This is big. Verizon Fiber Internet is ready
Let them get you hooked up and power your Wi-Fi network
with the speed and reliability that only a 100% fiber network can do.
Verizon is ready to help you do what you do better. With real people, real rates, and a real service.
Connect with them today, and the first month is free, plus no contracts and no data caps. Call 740-772-8331
Or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe
to sign up today. Well, and you can tell that for sure. The name of the movie is Without
Her.
Her. Yeah, I almost said Without You, which is a completely different movie done by completely different people in a completely different time. So I'm glad you said it before I said something dumb. So, what, I mean, obviously you've talked about the fact that you really would like to take the the money that comes out of this in some way. That's the other thing about Brett, and I think you'll be really impressed by this. Brett basically says a community can show my movie, Legends of the Night, for free, but you've got to attach it to a nonprofit. So you can charge, but we're not paying anything to give you the movie or anything like that. And he's an amazing guy. He does thousands of these screenings, over the course of 4 or 5 years. And I think it's just one of those guys. He's one of those guys that I think really just has gotten the idea that film can really transform communities, And I think that's what you're trying to do here too.
Absolutely. Because I believe that the film is an art in itself. And I believe a good movie is something that it pushes the envelope just a little bit farther than what society ever knew it to exist before. And this is my contribution to pushing that envelope into, yes, we've seen dog movies. Yes, we've seen domestic violence movies. Throughout all of my research, I have yet to find a movie that specifically targets how the dogs are affected with their people in domestic violence situations.
Yeah.
And just, I love the idea too of having like the screening thing. And that's a part of what my next coming steps are after making the movie is I've talked to the local community action, Ross County Community Action here, and they loved the idea, and they really loved the idea of having a big film premiere here next October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and having like a very big event, like a dog show, a breed inclusive dog show, so like prettiest boy and floppiest ears, and having this big grandiose event that is all designed to raise funding to break ground on this pet-friendly domestic violence shelter. And just even the idea of having that for other communities elsewhere and putting that behind like, you can totally show this film, but it has to go to a nonprofit that supports this transition. And there are so many amazing nonprofits out there that have done that. Safety Program is another one that has partnered up with us, and that's their main vision, is to open up a pet-friendly shelter in every single community across the world. And because that aligns so closely with the storyline, it was a no-brainer for me to reach out like, hey, I'd love to have your help on this. I'd love to have your backing. And the founder of that nonprofit, she is wonderful. And she was like, absolutely. I love this. So that's a part of that too, is just like getting all of these people together, and we all grow together. And I'm not looking to buy my second home and in the beach or on the beach somewhere. I want everybody to have enough. They have food on their table. They have a warm place to sleep at night. They feel good about the work that they've put in, and we all grow together with that.
Yeah. I think one thing that I would say too is to go back to when you were talking about your personal situation. It may not feel to a lot of people that the dog would be a barrier to leaving that situation. But it's a huge, huge issue. Whenever you have to leave anything behind, it feels like something that would keep you from really staying out and getting out. And I think you talked about it in your own situation. Like the fear of, what do I do? Keeps you from doing the thing that you probably should do to keep yourself safe.
Absolutely. And that is something that you're right, that like it feels like maybe a lot of people don't know how much of a problem it is for people who make that decision to not get help or get out because of your dog, or for the sake of like, that's my best friend. I'm not leaving here without them. And there's about 48% of the victims of domestic violence who have a dog don't leave, or they'll delay getting care. And when you break that down in numbers to Ross County terms, that's 1.1 thousand women in Ross County right now that are going through that as we are speaking.
Wow.
And that's just like who won't get help. There is over 2,000 of them that are in the situation.
Yeah.
And 1,000 of them are not going to get help that they need.
Well, and we know that victims of domestic violence are often isolated from their friends and their family. We know that psychologically, the hold on a domestic violence victim by their abuser is so strong that they don't feel like they can, the dog is really the only friend, right?
Exactly.
And so I think, how do you leave behind your only friend, or how do you arrange for your only friend to come with you? That's the rub, I think, for that situation that makes it incredibly difficult,
Oh, it definitely is. And it I know my dog will guilt trip me for me just going to the grocery store for 20 minutes. I couldn't look at him in the face and have that communication with their eyes where I'm essentially telling him you're never going to see me again, or that it still breaks my heart to even think about it. And that's not even the case or a reality anymore. But I know that it was a reality at one point. And I know that it could be my next door neighbors that are having this problem. And that's what's it's so terrifying. And it's sad that people feel so isolated from that, that most of the time they're too ashamed to talk about it. They're too ashamed no one wants to be the one that stands up and is like, yeah, I didn't get out of my bad abusive relationship. I stayed for my dog. No one wants to proudly say that. But I believe that the more bravery that the victims who are now advocates and survivors have in sharing their real experiences, that it's not all perfect. It's not, you don't have to be your own hero 100% of the time. But even if you were your own hero for 10% more than what you showed up for yourself yesterday, that in itself is such a life-changing type of decision that can mean the difference between getting out or not.
Yeah.
But we know that that dogs are, people use them every day for emotional support.
Yeah.
Right. We see it more and more all the time. So that's just for people in a normal life. So now take somebody who's in a situation where there's the lack of hope and there's fear and all those things. Then the support that dog provides for them is 100-fold. To just somebody in a normal situation. So I could see how hard it would be. It would be like leaving a child, because that we all know that's how the dogs become. My wife and I, we have two. We have two kids, and we have two other children, our dogs our life kind of revolves around. And we're in a great situation. So I can't even imagine how hard it would be for somebody who, like Mike said, might be their only friend is that canine. How do you leave that dog behind? You can't. And so finding a way to allow women to escape those situations.
Break down one more barrier to leaving. Right?
Yeah. So let's eliminate that somehow. And if this movie has an opportunity to do that just in our community, that's awesome. But the fact that it could move from community to community, that's what gets me excited about what your project could do.
Yeah.
Thank you. I genuinely appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And I know when someone hears the word passion project, at least in terms of independent film, you start getting a little bit like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I use that term a little loosely, but that is truly what it is this is a passion project, but my passion for it goes beyond just I really want to do this. This has been 18 months up until this point to get to this point where we've actually got the trailer done. It's released. People can watch it now. That took 18 months just from I'd like to have my dog in a movie to actually at least having the trailer for,
now,
the movie.
Did you write the screenplay and all of that? Did that come from you, or did you have a team of people writing? Or
I have produced up until this point with just Daniel and I.
Okay.
Until we've gotten some crew in now. We have other producers who have come on board to help with especially camera equipment and things of that nature. I'm very good with the technical side of things, computer work, files, forms, organizing. Give me that all day and I will be probably really happy in a weird way, but
Yeah.
at camera work is not always my strongest point. So I can't say like, oh, I've done this all myself and this is all me, because there is no movie ever that is ever going to exist that one person made.
Right.
It is a team effort all the way through.
Yeah.
But
So how big is your crew now? I mean, at this point in your project,
How many dogs are on the?
well,
no.
and where are you at in your timeline? You mentioned like next October
Yes.
potentially being ready. So yeah, I guess where are you at now with the movie?
right now we've got 13 total, including, I think yes, that includes myself. 13 total cast and crew, with about 9 of them being cast members, the rest of them being crew members. I know we're going to have a little bit extra crew and definitely extra cast members when it comes to having all those, like those Hallmark movies where you see where they wave down the street. Someone gets paid to do that. And so that's what we've got so far, total number wise. But the whole timeline, currently we just launched the fundraiser, because to make the big premiere happen, I have to do my part and make the movie happen first. And most of the budget does go into just paying people for their time and feeding people. Storm is fortunately, he is one of the cheapest cast members. He's agreed to be paid in treats.
Yeah.
Well,
Treats and food and water.
Yeah.
Right?
He's one of the
Let him out
cheapest.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
He's the biggest diva, but
Hey, stars got to be stroked, right? It's like, okay, buddy. Okay.
oh, he is.
Big egos.
Big egos.
But so far, my crowdfunding campaign has been going along for the past couple of weeks, and will go on for about the 1st of January.
Okay.
Yes, I had to think about that. Potentially a little longer if we can meet that initial crowdfunding goal. We'll get the extension out through the Indiegogo platform, where they provide that little bit of extra time just to boost the production value up even higher. But my plans from that go even farther into using that crowdfunding campaign to mostly prove that like people want to see this movie. It's not about people contributing $5,000 or even $5. Like it's really one of the equivalents of like literally every single dollar has so much power that even if 50 people gave $1 each, it may not seem like much. It seems like, it's $50, but that's 50 people that I can show to other investors and other sponsors that, look, we're ready for this. Now the only thing we need is you.
Right.
So
And-
what's the goal then? What dollar amount have you set for the goal?
My current goal on crowdfunding is $18,000. That's the bare minimum that I need to at least be able to pay people, have food and craft services, and just rentals, like location rentals, just in case there are any type of like lodging for some actors that are traveling all the way out from LA. We have a Chillicothe native actress that is coming. She lives in LA, but she's from here. So she's going to actually be in the cast as well.
Okay.
Of course, I wouldn't necessarily expect her to have to not have anywhere to stay while she's in Chillicothe, but
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point about what you're doing too, is that you've actually employed folks that are originally from this area, but they are in LA pursuing this as a craft as well. I think I always joke, like I made movies too when I was a kid. I didn't actually have a camera, and it was me and my buddies, And so this is like a real deal. It's got cameras. It's got, the actual work being done. It's not just your buddies. It's actual people that you're going to pay.
absolutely.
And that all costs money. And I think, the thing that I find, it's probably frustrating for you, but it's fascinating to me, is going out and soliciting people to be a part of the dream. You got to be really good at being able to capture your dream into, a quick speech, right?
Oh yeah.
But then, once they see it, I think the fire gets lit,
Right.
So.
And that's where I believe this is like it's a snowball effect, where it's been so cool to watch this one single snowflake me packing it together, where like everyone getting their hands on it and really packing this snow down, where it's starting to roll down the hill now. And especially seeing that first contributor come through and just like, oh my gosh, yes, this is it. People believe in this dream. And then seeing the second and the third and the fourth. And now currently it's up to 13. If I haven't checked my email yet in a few hours, so it could be up higher than that by now. But it's been so amazing to watch everybody feel that same level of passion. And when they're watching the trailer and they're feeling feelings that they may have never even felt before in their entire life.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's give people information about how they can get there and help be a part of this. Where are you on in terms of the crowdfunding?
So currently the project is on Indiegogo.
Okay.
I have the links to all of the Indiegogo across all of the social media pages at Without Her Movie. That is probably going to be the easiest way to find it. Is just to go through the hyperlinks on social media. Yeah. But you can absolutely look it up on Indiegogo.com as well. It's just Without Her Movie. It'll pop right up there on the search list. And from there, you can watch the official campaign trailer and watch the pitch video that everyone in the cast and crew worked together to piece this message out, to send out to people. Mm-hmm. And we've got a ton of cool perks too. Some of my favorites I paint tiny figures of dogs, like portrait animals, and make little portrait models of them. So that's actually one of the perks that is my personal favorite I can't wait to get started on them. I've got a partnership with a 3D printer in Wisconsin who is she's a wonderful artist as well. She does any dog breed 3D printed model that you can imagine. And I'm so excited. I want somebody to have that really unique dog that doesn't fit any breed standard, because I love the challenge of sculpting and painting. But I'm super excited to get to share my love of dogs with everybody else too. Because it's not just about hey, it's not like GoFundMe where you just contribute and that's it. You don't get anything, maybe a thank you or something in passing. This is something that you get something back in return, because it's not about just, to me, it's not about just give me stuff, help me. It's let me help me help you, and we'll help each other, and we'll build together and grow together that way. Yeah.
I would also note that the Chillicothe Gazette and Litter Media have both done articles, I think, about the movie as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is helpful. So you can check out those online as well. I think they're on your social medias as well. I've seen them there.
But we'll put a link in our description of the
absolutely.
Show,
yeah.
So people can find you.
And Marty's going to give $50,000. So,
hey, we got it on recording now.
Yeah,
can't
that's
go
right.
back on it.
It's got to happen now. Well, I love the passion of what you both are doing, even though Daniel hasn't said a word since we sat down. He did say that this was your forum because he's already been on. That's right. So I appreciate that. But I love the passion of what you guys do. I think what you've done is you've built this incredible community of collaborators and creators, and you're making some really good stuff. I'm proud of you both. I think you've done a great thing. And then just what you're doing with sharing your own personal story to a certain extent, and then bringing more and more awareness to this issue of domestic violence and the barriers that people have to go through to get out of it. I just can't, I haven't had that situation in my own family or my own around me, but, I've seen a lot of it through my work as a journalist, and, we don't want there for it to be too late. Right.
Absolutely.
We want to be able to try to figure out ways that folks can get out of that. So, thanks for what you're doing. I think it's tremendous. And I just hope that, as we move forward with this, that, this becomes a thing that goes beyond Chillicothe, because it's needed everywhere, really,
I 100% agree. And I think what Hamlet said it best: don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. That's how I feel about Chillicothe. I know we're already the first capital of Ohio. You can't take that away from us.
That's right.
But we are going to be in the history books for so much more than just being first capital.
I'm not going to mention that they actually did take the capital away from us twice.
Yeah, we were the first and third.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I get the point. Now I keep telling people we're going to stop talking about this first capital thing now because now we're World Heritage. And
Yeah.
that's so much better.
That's right.
Now we can see like World Heritage coffee shops and stuff like
right.
that. Like we'll start using that name more too.
Well, it's funny. We have Paper City, and now we have a Mill City, and then I was like, well, Mound City's already taken, but like that should be our thing now, right?
Yeah,
like
that's right.
maybe we should start focusing on that. But
Well, it's just amazing to see that, you talk about LA and Atlanta and then a lot of Hollywood has shifted to like Vancouver and filming in those spaces for lots of different reasons. Most of it's probably tax reasons. But to see things like that happen in your own home community, it's really easy for that community to rally around it because it's exciting. So I wish you the best of luck. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
and to your point, we go to the Civic Theater. You're part of the Civic Theater, and I mean, I'm always amazed at the people that I thought I knew that had this amazing ability to act or perform or whatever. And so, I've felt that from the two of you as well. And I've got a feeling that I'm going to be surprised by some more people before this thing's all said and done. Right.
Oh, I can guarantee it.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much again for being on, and we wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
You're listening to the Feels Like Home podcast with Mike Throne and Marty Ford. Powered by Horizon. This is big. This is
We
gig.
don't deserve it. It feels a little strange, but I don't feel alone. We just settled in and it all